welcome to my channel. You got me in stitches. I'm Anna, and also a really warm welcome to Deconstruct, Reconstruct vintage style. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week. Right, so today, which is episode 6, we are going to go through and talk about the vintage frock that is behind me. So yeah, overall it is okay. There are a few repairs that I will have to do because the back seam periodically down it has popped stitches, so it doesn't matter too much because I think I'm going to get the quick unpick out and seam rip that as well. It almost fits. It fits kind of around the shoulders in the bust area, but then it just starts to get like a tent on me. The fabric is 100% polyester and it has buttons down the front, again as you can clearly see, short sleeved. It comes down I think to my knee or just a smidge past my knee. It has a collar, and yeah, I'm going to cinch it in around the waist area. I'm going to rehem it. In places it has actually been serged, but it's been serged in such a way, you'll see when I flip it inside out, that there is absolutely no seam allowance on the serged seams, and the back and the front seam have been left, they're just raw, and the hem has been hand stitched. So yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. Hopefully I won't need to sort of reconfigure the top area because that does fit quite well on me. It's just it starts to billow out just a little bit all around, sort of, you know, just starting under the bust area and out. It's just a little bit too big, so I will unpick those seams, and then when I reconfigure them I will just gradually bring each seam in. I may add some darts on the back, I don't know. So it's one of those processes you kind of can configure as you go along, but they're my ideas at the moment. Yeah, but there's no staining on it, it's really good condition, so I think most of the vintage outfits, clothes that I come across, I make sure are in good condition, because sometimes there are some stains that you can just never remove, and you know, depending on where they are, they're unsightly, and if you can't get them off, out, you know, it might be if there was a stain on the hem, great, if you could rehem it, then that will emit, you know, some damage or a stain. But yeah, overall most of the garments that I have are pretty much in good condition. Yeah, sometimes there's rips and tears and things like that, but again, you can add embellishments to those areas if need be, or just repair them. It all depends on what you like as an individual and what you can do with that fabric and that garment, and introducing some little elements to a design. Yeah, so there's lots of things to do, I think, with vintage, and you know, overall they're very generous with their fabric. So considering I think they were sort of quite, I don't know, thrift in those days, I'm actually surprised that there is so much fabric. Excuse that bang, we've just had some terrible wind. So yeah, okay, so I'm going to flip it inside out and show you guys the interior. Okay, so we will start with the collar here. There is a nice stitched decorative line there. This is attached here, and then the decorative stitch goes all the way around the back. Just following down to these cute little buttons. Feeling them, they actually feel like wood, and I guess then they would have been coloured. So there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. Just flip this to the sleeve, so shoulder, and short sleeved. That's been folded twice, and again the decorative stitching line around there. Also, it has a little tiny bust dart there, and you can also see one of the seam lines there and the other one along here. And looking at this is the same fabric pieces on the blue dress, so yeah, exactly the same, just different fabric. So that goes all the way down. There is a little snag detail there. That is actually a belt loop, and that has been pulled, unfortunately, and has created that pull line. Yeah, so let me just spin this back round, and then just follow that down. There we go. So it's quite pleasing to the eye at the front. I'll just spin it round to the back. So pretty straightforward, the back. It has the back seam, which I mentioned earlier on, and throughout it has popped stitches. I don't know if I can find one for you. Yes, there's one there. There. So that runs all the way sporadically through. There you go, there's a bigger one there. So even if I wasn't changing that, I would have to restitch that whole entire seam just to fix all those holes. And again, that's all the way down to the back. I'll flip it inside out, guys, so you can see the interior. Right, so we will start with the collar here, and there is that decorative stitching line that you can see. I'll just flip that there, and they have finished the right edge with serging, and they followed that all the way down the front button placket. Then it goes into the raw edge of the rest of the front of the frock, completely left raw, no finishing at all, just raw. Isn't that strange? And they have done that on the back as well. So just glide over to the shoulder. Now they have, you can see that they have serged the raw edge here on the shoulder seam and left this one raw. Then they have serged along the arm side, that little bit of facing that I flipped that over as you can see, and left that one raw. Following that down the sleeve there, those little dots, that's just perforated through the fabric. That's the decorative stitch that you will see on the outside. They've finished the raw edge there with an overlock. So I bring this around to the back. Underneath here they have finished with the serging, and again the entire back seam has been left raw, and there is approximately about a 3/4 inch either side, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, so it's just left raw. There's no shaping in the back, so no darts or anything. And that just goes all the way down to the bottom. And then the hem is very, very teeny tiny, and that has been hand stitched. You can see there. And a little bit rough around the edges. I think that should have perhaps been folded twice. There is no evidence that that has been let down. There's no perforations or anything, no lines or anything like that. Again, because this hits me at the knee, or just a smidge past the knee, there will be a lot of extra hem. And there was the belt loop that I showed you, so hopefully I might, if there's enough fabric and it allows, I might do a little thin narrow belt to accompany this dress, and hopefully have a little bit more significant leftover fabric to make a little bit of a larger hem. So I just brought the camera back up just so you can see on the inside. That's another gaping hole where the seams have popped, or the stitches rather have popped, so that would need fixing. So, but overall the fabric is very clean. I haven't found any staining or anything. Yeah, so this is the other arm, but it's just strange where there's serging in one places and no serging in other places. That's the little tiny bust dart there. I think that was cut, so even if I wanted to move that, I would not be able to. I could make it bigger and have more fabric, but I wouldn't be able to move it up and down. There isn't enough fabric to do that, and obviously that is cut and stitched together. So yeah, but I'm going to leave as is. They kind of work for me. But look at this teeny tiny. There's just no space for any flexibility. Lucky that this is quite large on me, so I don't think I'm going to seam it. I think I'm just going to cut with a pair of scissors, because there's just so teeny, and it will save a lot of time as well. That was just the thread for the belt loop. Yeah, there's a couple of little, I don't know if they're pulls. It might be where I press the fabric later, that might just come out. They look like tiny pulls, but you cannot see them on the other side. There's a couple more there. I think it's just fold lines, but we will see when I come to pressing. Right, that is the interior, guys. So, lightweight polyester fabric. I did notice that there was, I believe, let me turn the mannequin around. It appears that there was at one time a clothing label in there, or two rather, and that has been cut away. So, but there's no other information about the dress. It's all plain and ordinary. I don't think anybody, they may have done some alterations. They may have let it out. Maybe that's why there's no seam allowances. Who knows? But yeah, so hopefully this will be pretty straightforward, just to nip in and fit around the contours of my body shape. Okay, so I have seam ripped the back middle seam, and I have done it to almost the top. So this is the back of the collar. I'm leaving just a few inches there, and then what I will do, I will gradually grade that in or out depending on which way you look at it, so the seam will be greater on both sides. I'm also going to pin some darts for shaping at the back. So you never know, I may be able to just do that, and that will be enough to just reconfigure sort of the excess fabric that is around the tummy hip area. So just going to pin that and then try it on. I'll do that off camera and then come back to you if that is just enough on its own like that. Okay, so as I've just said, I'm just showing you guys that I have pinned the back seam together, but I have very gradually here started to grade down and across just to cinch the back in a little bit. I just need to press, well, they were sort of semi-pressed, but they've unboinged themselves. Yes, unboinged, is that a technical term? Well, it is now. So down to the bottom, I'll just flip it over and show you the pinned darts. Okay, so pinned dart there. It's not curved, it's just the way the fabric is on the table. There we go, so one this side and one underneath, but it's exactly the same. So yeah, just going to fit it on and see if I need to make any more adjustments. Also, I'm just going to show you guys, so this was the hem, and obviously I have pinned the back side seam as I just showed you. Now look how teeny tiny that hem is, and it's really like uneven, and then it gets bigger and then it dips down again. Look how tiny that is. I mean, it's like, I was just going to start to unpick it, but actually, you know what, I might just, I know it sounds really drastic, but just get a pair of scissors and just cut that off. I mean, it's really not even worth, I mean, look, that is so tiny. That's just like a couple of mil, and then it's like, that's about a ½ inch, maybe even more. Crazy, isn't it? Does anybody else press themselves? I think it's fun. Pressing on the fact that, you know, making sure that the stitches are sitting. Okay everybody, so as you have seen the journey with this dress, it was quite fun and it was very quick, to be honest. There was not much deconstruction at all except for just that back seam and just the addition of the darts in the back. So yeah, and then I had, again you guys have seen, I cut off a little bit of the surplus hem and used that as a little tiny tie belt, and then obviously serged the hem and just flipped it over once, extended the stitch length on that. So also a little story. Now you guys will see in these stills that I haven't got the tie belt in all the pictures, so there's only one or two that I will put up with the tie belt. So there's most of the pictures predominantly are without the tie belt, and then I put the tie belt on just so you can see, but there's not a lot of difference. Now a little discovery. As again you will see in the photographs, there's a little bit of gaping around the bust area, and the gaping must have been on the previous owner. So what they had done was installed very teeny tiny little snaps or poppers if you wish, and it was like, okay, so you go and use them for what their purpose is. No, so they're only on one side. How strange is that? I know I've checked in case the other side have like popped off. Yeah, sorry. It's a bit like the pressing, wasn't it? Does anyone else press themselves? I'm sure you do, but probably you won't admit it. Anyway, yes, you'll see when I flip it round. The little snaps poppers are just on one side of the placket. Very, very strange. I don't know. So yeah, I will flip it round for you guys, talk through that. So, and then I'll come back and talk to you face to face. So very quickly, the top part of the dress is just as is. Now, these little snips, there we go. So there's a snip there, there's a snip there, and so on. But what do you attach it to? Like, where is the other snip? And again, you follow it down. Trying to get it. Where's the snip? It's absolutely nowhere. What is the point in putting snips on one side and not the other? Or poppers, or whatever you'd like to call them. Isn't that crazy? So, I think somewhere in my little vintage collection I have teeny tiny snips like that. So, I will install them, because again, as you saw from the photos, it does gape there. So, and I haven't ordered the top of it anyway, so it was gaping anyway. Yeah, okay, I'll just turn it round to the back. So pretty straightforward, it's just a regular seam, nothing exciting. And then you can see the darts either side there, and then follow down to the hem. Just a little bit closer for you guys to see. So I extended the stitch length. Right, I'll just flip it inside out. Okay, so again, nothing exciting. You saw that I had serged, so that is my serging. So if you look at theirs, if you remember, look how teeny tiny that serging is compared with the modern. And then you just follow down, and then the darts there, so pretty straightforward. And then all the way down to the hem, Let me just grab that, and then just the regular hem flipped over once, so you can still see the serging. And then, like I said, I used a longer stitch length for the regular sewing. So that is it, guys. One sec. Okay, so back to the front. I just draped the little tie belt. So look how tiny it is. I don't know if you guys actually saw one of my videos a while ago in using the loop turners and not really being very successful. Well, today I was. So that was a little bit of fun. So yeah, okay, I'll flip the camera around and continue to talk. So yeah, there you go. As you saw, those tiny little snaps are just completely rendered useless. So okay, but I hope you have enjoyed watching me go through the process of the deconstruct, reconstruct. So during everything that I have done, you know, it's a learning journey, discovery, and yeah, just the fabric, the way it moves, the way it holds itself, whether it's tricky to stitch with or easy. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. And again, you know, a little disclaimer, I don't profess to be an expert at all, and it was just a fun journey for me to, you know, just go through doing all this and learning. And yeah, I think there's quite a bit of satisfaction, self-learning, self-journeying through, you know, sewing or any craft that we do, or even not a craft, just everything generally. So yeah, so this was episode 6 of this little mini season of Deconstruct, Reconstruct. This is actually the last one, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed it. I will be doing something different on Wednesdays. I'm going to have a little break for a little while. I don't know how long, a few weeks maybe. All depends on how I feel and how my medical sort of issues are just, you know, giving me a bit of, yeah. So, and it takes a lot. So even at the best of times for people that, you know, are pretty much sort of 100% okay. So yeah, so this is the last one, guys. Again, please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, if you'd like to see more. I have other vintage clothing, and I will return and do another season later on in the year, or maybe early next year, who knows. If that's something you would like, again, please stay tuned and watch and follow the journey with that. I've got quite a few ideas written down. I'm always writing down little notes and thoughts and ideas and everything, so there's lots of things that I'm gradually going to introduce to my channel. And yeah, I'm going to do, you know, some basic learning, you know, teaching with my teenage earthling friends, yeah, all sorts of things. So yeah, so that is it, guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I would like to read your thoughts in the messages of anything else, and you know, ideas, please. If you've got some ideas, something that you would like for me to show you guys, you know, I think it's a broad spectrum. There's so many things, all different levels, and again, you know, I will be introducing that as I go along. A couple of people have messaged me and asked for a demonstration on my Frister Assman's sewing machine, and that is in the pipeline. The reason I've delayed it is because of the missing feet, and I wanted to show you guys, you know, what the machine's capability was with the current feet that I have. But yeah, I think they've gone walkabout, you know, in the sense that maybe somebody helped themselves, or just one of these bizarre mysteries that it's forever lost. But I don't lose things, so unless it's fallen out somewhere and didn't realise, and you know, it's gone in that sense. Okay, so I will see you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for all of your support and the journey through the Deconstruct, Reconstruct. So until next time, take care. Thank you so much for watching and see you on Sunday.